Hey everyone, my name is Noah and welcome to the very first video in Game Time Finance. Today's video is going to be about how you can become the head coach of your own personal finances. I believe personal finance is very important because it can help you allocate your time and your minutes to what matter most to you. So without further ado, let's get into the 6 steps that you can take to become the head coach of your own finances. The first level is financial dependence. There's not many things that are guaranteed in life, but this is one of those things. This is when you're living off of someone else's money, whether it's your parents, your aunt, your uncle, your guardian, whoever it may be. Obviously, this level is just fine to be at if you're young, but as you get older, you want to try to get out of this level. So in coaching terms, think of this as the playing stage. You don't know that you want to be a head coach just yet. You're just out there playing the game you enjoy. You're depending on the coaches and coordinators to call the shots. You're just out there to do what they say. The problem with the first level is that your expenses are greater than your income. The goal of this level is to try to get out by maximizing your income and minimizing your expenses. This level is dangerous because if you're not careful enough, it can lead you to going into debt. The second level of the financial independence stage is the survival stage. In this level, you're living paycheck to paycheck and you're barely getting by. You might be frustrated with yourself, your situation, or whoever it is that might have put you in that situation. All you know in this level is that you want to get out of it. It's at this level that you realize you want to be a coach, but you just don't know exactly how. So you start studying the greats. You study Nick Saban, how he's always persistent. You study Andy Reid and how he always connects with players. It was at this stage for me that I realized I finally wanted to take control of my finances. I was going from an old retail job that paid weekly to a bank job that paid bi-weekly. So I was having to make my finances stretch double the amount of time that I had before. I had about $25 that I had to make last about a week and a half, and I struggled to do it, but I successfully did it. When all my coworkers were going out to eat for lunch, they would stop at the gas station beside the bank in the morning to get coffee or energy drinks or whatever it is. I would just go straight past that. I would just go to work, I would come home, I wouldn't spend money, and I did that for about a week and a half. So when I finally got paid after the week and a half, I realized that I enjoyed the struggle a little bit, but I didn't want to keep doing that for every paycheck that I got. So it was at this stage, I knew the playbook, I knew what I wanted to do, I just had to do it. And unfortunately, this is the stage that 78% of Americans are in right now. They're on the 1-yard line trying to throw the ball while they have Marshawn Beast Mode Lynch in the backfield. Their play calling doesn't work, and it's usually not until they lose the game and go into mass amounts of consumer debt that they realize it. You realize that there must be a difference in your income and expenses. And that leads us to the third stage. The third stage is the sacrifice stage. You've done either one of two things or you combine the two. You either increased your income or decreased your expenses, or you could have found a combination that works for you between the two. Increasing your income by picking up a second job or starting a side hustle is crucial if you're stuck in level 2. It will make paying your expenses easier. On the other hand, you can decrease your expenses by getting rid of unused subscriptions, buying less things you want, or even downgrading houses or apartments to lower your monthly mortgage or rent. So I encourage you to find whatever is comfortable for you and pursue that. It's called personal finance. It's not called general public finances that apply to everyone, no matter what situation they're in. In this stage, you'll most likely be in some sort of debt, whether that's credit card debt, car payments, student debts, or other debts. It's important that in this stage you work on paying off those debts. Personally, my favorite way of paying off debts is by focusing on high interest debts first. So like for example, your credit card. My first credit card, for the first year, it was interest free, and then after the first year, it grew to 25% interest. In the coaching world, this stage is similar to the process of going through coach's training. You have to make sacrifices when becoming a coach. You won't make much money at first during the training stage, since you're most likely volunteering and shadowing other coaches. You also might have to sacrifice your time since you'll constantly be with other coaches. It's important to make sacrifices and get that debt paid off so you can take advantage of the gap between your income and expenses. The goal of this stage is to pay off the majority of your debt. The fourth stage I'm going to talk about is the debt-free stage. During this stage, you don't owe any money to anybody besides possibly a mortgage, but you can finally start saving money. This stage is a major milestone that many Americans don't even reach. When you're debt-free, it opens up doors to other ways that you can prioritize your money and your time. Think of this stage as the coaching job offer stage. You learned what play calling style you like, you shadowed a successful coach, now you finally got a job offer for your first coaching job. You most likely aren't going to go straight into being a head coach, so you start off as an assistant coach. You aren't at the very top, but now you have your foot in the door, you have experience, and you have potential to reach your head coach goal. Being in this stage is when you have no more debt and you can finally start saving your money for step 5. Level 5 is all about saving money, and more specifically, your emergency fund. Your emergency fund should be 3 to 6 months of living expenses. And personally, I like 6 months, just because if I were to get laid off or something happens where I can't work, I have 6 months covered. At any time in your financial journey, you could possibly lose your job, your car could break down, or you could have storm damage on your house. It's important to have a backup plan so you can be prepared and not have to go back into debt when an emergency presents itself. So, like I said, I like to have about 6 months of emergency savings saved up. This is in case if I get laid off and I have to find a new job. It gives me 6 months to find a new job. Well, let's say in a month goes by and I still haven't found a job and my car breaks down. That emergency fund was down to 5 months, but then my car broke down, so now it's down to 3 months. Well, that's 3 months gone, and it's only been a month. So that's why I like to have more than 3 months, just to give me a little extra leeway when emergencies do pop up. This level is similar to calling the right plays as an assistant coach. In order to eventually get a head coach offer, you must call the right plays and be successful as an assistant coach. When you call the right plays and win games, you get noticed. Saving an emergency fund is all about calling the right plays, and once you have 3 to 6 months of living expenses saved, you can finally move on to the final step. So before we get started on the final step, if you're still watching, be sure to leave a like and comment your favorite sport and your favorite athlete, and I'll like and comment mine too. The final stage is the investing stage. By this stage, you have successfully started paying stuff by yourself, stopped living paycheck to paycheck, paid off your debts, saved an emergency fund, and started saving money to invest. Now it's time to put those saved dollars to work. Keep in mind that I'm not a financial advisor and this is not financial advice. So there are many different ways you can invest your money, but the big one is through the stock market. The stock market has an average return of 10% annually. Let's say you start with $10,000 saved and ready to invest. You invest that money into the market, contributing an additional $2,000 per month. After just 10 years in the market at a 10% return, you would have a total of $408,435.62.
Nice.
That's almost $500,000 just 10 years down the road. Think of this stage as finally getting the head coach job. You did it. You finally got the job and you were at the top. There are still lessons you learned from your assistant coaches, but you're now the top dog. The journey to become a head coach of your own personal finances can be a tough journey, but I believe that anybody can do it with the right persistence, knowledge, and effort. So let's get into a recap of the 6 levels. Level 1 is the financial dependence stage. You don't rely on your own money to keep you alive. No matter what you want to do, you're trying to get out of this stage. Level 2 is the survival stage. You made it out of level 1, you are living paycheck to paycheck. You're making ends meet in order to provide for yourself or your family. You learn a lot about yourself in this stage, but eventually your goal is to apply what you learn and enter the next level. Level 3 is the sacrifice stage. You are increasing your income while decreasing your expenses. You're trying to widen the gap and using that excess money to pay down debts. Level 4 is the debt-free stage. You have finally paid off all your debts, starting with the highest interest debt, and you're working your way down. You've also started saving money in order to build an emergency fund. Level 5 is the emergency fund stage. You are saving 3 to 6 months of your living expenses for when an emergency happens. You are also saving money to start investing. Level 6 is the investing stage. You've built up enough money to invest. you're investing, and you're living off the returns. This is how you become the head coach of your own personal finances. So if you've enjoyed this video, leave a like and comment what personal finance topics you'd like to see me go over next. Don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss any of the future content. My name's Noah, and until next practice, get some rest, let your mind recover, and be ready to work.